During the COVID pandemic, education and lactation assistance for new parents were extremely limited. A recent study showed that over 70% of new mothers reported not having the support that they needed to reach their breastfeeding goals during the lockdown. August is World Breastfeeding Month and is celebrated to highlight the benefits of breastfeeding, not only for mother and baby, but children, families, and the environment. Thanks for joining us for this week's Health News You Can Use. I'm Lindsay Stish. This week, we're talking about how the pandemic impacted new mothers on their breastfeeding journey, the benefits for mom and baby, and the lactation support and resources there are for new moms. With me today is Marji Stark, a lactation consultant at St. Luke's East Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So first of all, Marji, let's talk about how the pandemic impacted breastfeeding and lactation support for new mothers and babies.
Many families elected to discharge sooner than 48 hours post-delivery during the pandemic related to COVID issues. And so they were not able to receive the breastfeeding assistance and education that they typically do. At times, mothers and babies were separated following delivery. An example would be if a baby was admitted to the NICU and a mother had tested positive, then it would be some time before she would be able to enter the NICU and be with her baby again. We did see just a reduction in all lactation services. Mothers were not able to find one-on-one lactation follow-up consults. Baby weight check opportunities were very limited. In-person breastfeeding support groups were not held for over 2 years. And we saw that 1 in 3 mothers during early COVID screened positive for postpartum depression. This is almost triple our pre-pandemic number.
Okay, wow. So lots of impacts. Let's talk about how it's changed since then. What support does St. Luke's offer to breastfeeding families, and what other support is also available in the community?
Well, the wonderful news is that breastfeeding support is back. There are breastfeeding in-person classes taking place around Kansas City now, so for prenatal education. And then when parents are in the hospital, they're electing to stay a little longer sometimes so that they can receive all of the assistance and education that we like to share. They can connect with in-person breastfeeding support groups weekly. They are able to find one-on-one consultation when they are struggling. And we do have private practice lactation consultants that are now providing home visits, and often insurance is covering those visits, which is nice.
Now, what are the recommendations for breastfeeding?
So the World Health Organization, the American Academy of Pediatrics, UNICEF, and the CDC all recommend that mothers exclusively breastfeed babies for the first 6 months of life and then introduce complementary foods around that time. And then they also recommend that mothers continue this breastfeeding relationship for the first 2 years of a child's life.
And can you tell us about the benefits to baby, mother, and the community?
So for mothers, the benefits of breastfeeding are dose-related, meaning it depends on how long they breastfeed in their lifetime. We see a reduction in mothers' risk of cancers, female-associated cancers, of heart disease, of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, postpartum depression. It also helps aid in child spacing. And then for children and infants, we see a reduction in ear infections, respiratory issues, allergies and asthma, childhood cancers, diabetes as well, and sudden infant death syndrome.
Okay, great. So how can loved ones support a breastfeeding mother?
So many ways. So if family members will help create an environment when mom comes home that is comfortable and restful, a place where she can just heal and nurse her baby and work on building a healthy milk supply. They can bring her food and snacks. They can offer to do errands and provide childcare, make meals, and just really the most important thing is offer verbal encouragement daily. Tell her what a great job she's doing, all this hard work making milk for their baby. And then if she is struggling, they can offer to reach out and find assistance from mother or to go to a breastfeeding support group with her.
Okay. So many companies have work from home options now, but a lot of employees are heading back to the office. What can employers do to support breastfeeding mothers?
They can provide a clean, private space for mothers to express their milk while they're at work, and also time to do so each day. And then if they can foster an environment and the workplace that promotes breastfeeding and helps normalize expressing milk at work, that is so appreciated by nursing moms, and it also helps them breastfeed longer.
Okay, well, is there anything else you'd like to add today?
So the American Academy of Pediatrics recently said that Really, we should look at breastfeeding as a public health issue and not only a lifestyle choice. We know that when families successfully reach their breastfeeding goal, that everyone benefits. Infants, families, our culture, and our world benefit by successful breastfeeding families.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Marji.
Thank you for having me.
To find out more about St. Luke's lactation classes and support groups and to schedule an appointment, visit stlukeskc.org. You can also stay up to date with all the latest developments on the COVID pandemic and other health news from St. Luke's at stlukeskc.org/news. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Health News You Can Use.